Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Alex Tinsley, and if you're new here, then you should totally change that and subscribe to my channel. Today, I thought that it would be kind of like a helpful video if I kind of talked about how to be an on-ground student to an online student. Pretty much everywhere now, schools are pretty much closed for the most part. All of my classes at my college have been moved to online classes, and pretty much all of my friends, whether they're in high school or college, are doing the same thing. It's a pretty scary time, and I know that a lot of people are very stressed and anxious about everything that's going on, but I'm here to share some of my tips and tricks. Family and friends and all of that stuff and yourself should be such a huge priority during this time. So please, like, make sure your family and friends are okay. Like, try to limit yourself as much as possible to being in big groups. Another priority, rather than just sitting around watching TV or playing video games or all of that type of stuff, should be school. And I don't know what all schools are doing, but especially in high school, I'm not really sure how that whole transition thing is working. But if you're a college student or a high school student and all of your classes have been moved online, I think that it's really important to make school a priority, because it's not stopping just because everything's being moved online. You still have due dates, you still have deadlines, so it's important that you take care of those things. So to start off, having a clean environment has been super helpful for me in the past. If my room is super messy, it just makes me feel a lot less motivated, so having a clean room is definitely something that motivates me. Although I'm not in my room right now, but this room is pretty clean, so, you know, take some inspo from that. I've also noticed that sometimes working at a desk rather than just sitting in your bed and trying to do your homework can be very helpful and it might make you a little bit more productive. I find that, like, sitting in my bed makes me just want to, like, do something else or watch YouTube or just do anything other than my homework. So whether you go sit at, like, your dining room table or a desk in your house or anything like that, sometimes that just might be what you need, because when you're in school, you're sitting at a desk type environment rather than being in a bed. So maybe it'll help you get things done. I don't know. So this isn't necessarily like a tip for school, but wiping down your phone is super important. So much stuff and like bacteria just collects on these phones. I remember last year when I was in my biology class, we did like all these different samples and we looked at stuff under a microscope, and one of the things that we used was our phones, and it was like crazy to see how many germs collect on there. So I usually wipe my phone down with just some type of wipes or rubbing alcohol at least once a day, and then obviously just wash your hands, because that's pretty much the biggest thing here right now. And then staying home and limiting your exposure to other people at this time is probably super important. I know that you probably hear it in the media all the time, but just this weekend, all of the ski resorts in my town have closed down. Stores are closing earlier. I don't even know if restaurants are staying open, if they're only doing to-go orders. So there's just so much stuff that's happening that's super important. So if you can stay home and you don't need to go out, then that's probably the best idea. It's not something to be taken lightly. It is super important, and I know that a lot of people are upset about it, but it's just important to realize that, like, the sooner everybody can do it and everybody can contain themselves, the sooner this whole situation will be controlled, and the sooner we can go back to doing our everyday things. You might not think that it's a big problem, but just quarantine yourself, if not for you, for others, and for their safety. So moving on to some more tips and tricks that I want to share. Moving your classes online is definitely a huge transition and is definitely going to take some time to get used to. I think a lot of people think that this is a very temporary situation and that you might just not be in school for 2 weeks, but there's a lot of places that have just completely canceled school, like on-ground classes, for basically the rest of the year slash semester. There's a lot of people I know who are in college who have the rest of their college year online. I'm sure they're trying to get everybody back in class as soon as they can, but just for the time being, it's important to know that this is a temporary situation, but it might not be as temporary as you think. It's better to figure out how to do everything online sooner than later, just in case like this is for a longer period of time than you're expecting. I don't think anybody really knows where the situation is going, and that's why a lot of people are scared and are having doubt. I think it's important just to take things day by day. Even before the situation happened, I am somebody who gets kind of stressed out with school and college and all of that, because classes are hard And it's just important for me to take things day by day, because if I think about all the stuff that I have to do in the long run, like, oh my gosh, like I'm freaking out. But if I just take it day by day, do what I need to do for this day, like it's just so much easier and more simple. Also, your teachers are going through the same thing. I think a lot of teachers, especially the ones in high school, are not used to being like teachers online. They aren't really sure what's going on or how to do it all. So don't freak out about that. They're literally there to help you. So if you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out to them, because they are there to help. They will understand your concerns and work with you through this whole situation. So I use a platform called Canvas for my college. That's where all my classes are located. I know that a lot of other places use Blackboard. A lot of people use Google Classroom, especially if you're in high school. I used Blackboard last year, and to compare like Blackboard to Canvas, they're just very different. They're very like similar in some ways, but it's very hard to figure out when you have never used those before. Take the time to figure out how to use your online platform and where you're going to be submitting all your work and getting your assignments through. That's probably the biggest tip I have for you, is just set aside some time to figure that all out and learn the basics of the platform you're using. Submitting things and turning things in are probably going to be some of the hardest things, because not all classes are equipped to take tests and exams online. For me, I have a statistics exam that I need to print out, do, and then take pictures and send. So I do have one very helpful tip for that purpose. If you do have anything that you have to print out and take pictures of and send, I'd highly recommend using the Notes app. It has a scanning like document feature on there. If you don't know how to do it, you can look it up on Google and it'll like give you step by step to do it. But it's just a lot easier and simpler and can help a lot in the long run for your professors, so they're looking at something that's a little bit more put together and neat rather than just a picture. Also, Chegg is a like website where you can get a lot of help and like tutoring. There's tons of websites out there. I specifically like using this one for my statistics class because it just has a lot of math type stuff on there. I bought a subscription for it per month because I just really need all the help I can get in that class. And it doesn't give away all the answers. It has very similar questions with step-by-step answers and how to do them all, so it's really helpful for me. I know that a lot of people don't have the money to spend on something like that, but ask your parents, reach out to your school, just find out what resources they can offer you. Another thing that can be helpful is to write things down. If you have a lot of things that you need to do during the week, maybe write them all down so that you don't forget something, or you just know how to stay on track. I personally write a lot of the things that I need to do in my reminders app that comes with your phone. I sometimes slack and I don't do them all right away, but because I see them all the time on my home screen, I know that I'll eventually get them done. So that's super helpful for me. And just another tip, I don't know if this like affects anybody really that much, but getting dressed and not being lazy all the time is super important and definitely makes me feel a lot more productive. I mean, I'm still wearing like sweats right now, but I decided to put like a somewhat decently cute shirt on, and I did my makeup for this video, so it just makes me feel a little bit more productive. I have not posted a video in so long, so this is a great example that I am being productive right now. So if this gets uploaded to YouTube, give me a round of applause. I guess just as a conclusion, if you can just make some extra time to learn how to do the things that you need to get done, that is all that it's gonna take. It might take you a little bit of time the first week, but once you know how to do it, you're gonna fly through it, and you're gonna know how to do it just as easy as you would have been able to do it in class. Another thing that I could say is that fresh air is super key. Getting outside and just getting a little bit of fresh air here and there is like so huge, and it makes me feel so much better. So although we are supposed to be quarantining ourselves, if you can just step outside on your deck or whatever, then like just do that. At times like this, I know that people are having a lot of stress and anxiety. My biggest tip for that would just to be like stepping away from social media and the news. It's important to know what's going on, and especially like in this time, like you need to know what to do, what precautions to take. But the media and the news make things sound so much worse than they are, and it stresses a lot of people out, and I totally understand that. So just like maybe taking a little step back from that might be helpful. Okay, so I'm back. Sorry if I moved, my camera died. Also, I kind of moved to the side a little bit because there's a little Spidey over there, and I didn't want to put him outside because, well, it's snowing and he's gonna die, and I don't want him to die. So he's just chilling over there. I think I left off talking about how a lot of people think that this situation is being over exaggerated. And at first, you know, I kind of thought the same thing, but I do realize now that like this is a really serious thing. It's just important to realize that like so many older people are being affected by this, and because they're being affected, their families are being affected, and a lot of young people don't like understand that, because if like I get it, you know, I'm not gonna necessarily die, but you know, you never know, and it's just so much better to be cautious and safe than sorry, I guess. I hope that you guys stay safe. I hope that you guys are doing the best that you can to help your family and friends through this tough time. My heart goes out to anybody who is struggling with this or has been affected. Every single person has been affected by this in some way, shape, or form. So it's just important to be careful about that and to know and be aware. Take a deep breath, don't stress, eat your fruits and veggies and drink your water. I think like with all of the hate in the world, the least we could do is be there for one another and try to come together as a whole. The sooner that we can contain this, the sooner things will go back to the way they were. That is all that I have for you guys today. I hope that you enjoyed this video or it helped you out in some way. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have an amazing morning, afternoon, or nighttime, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!